Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Cone. I don't even know how I'm supposed to make a video after a game like that. That might have been the most insane game of basketball I've watched in my entire life, and I cannot wrap my head around the fact that the Pacers did it again. They, so far throughout the playoffs, have made two of the most insane comebacks I've ever seen to close out the Milwaukee Bucks and to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in that one game, and tonight, it felt like it just was out of reach this time. They were down 14 points with 2:51 left. The Knicks built up this big lead with Jalen Brunson off the bench on the bench, and then he comes back in and he hits the step back three to put them up 14. It should have been dead in the water. It's Madison Square Garden. The Knicks should not lose this game. But then the Pacers go back and forth, trade some buckets. They get a little bit of leeway, but then the Knicks strike right back, and Karl-Anthony Towns makes a layup, 42 seconds left to put them up 8. That should be it. There should be no hope of coming back, because they've made some crazy comebacks, but this one, it should be out of reach, right? It should be not for the most insane team I've ever seen. They go out there, and Aaron Nesmith in particular, from the 59-second mark to the 23-second mark, that's 36 seconds, he goes ahead and hits 3 threes. And these are like hyper contested, falling off balance threes, or at least 2 of them were. They force-fed him the ball on the last one. They're like, yeah, we are not letting anyone else shoot other than Aaron Nesmith. We've got Tyrese Haliburton, but you see what Aaron Nesmith is doing, and if I had to put my life on one player making a three, either prime Steph Curry or Aaron Nesmith in the fourth quarter, the final few minutes of this game, I'm taking Aaron Nesmith a million times out of a million. He physically could not miss, and so suddenly it's a 1-point game with 23 seconds left, and the Pacers end up fouling, and Towns misses one of the free throws, so the Pacers get the ball back, and they're down 3, so the Knicks decide, we're gonna foul up 3, we're gonna make you make free throws, we're gonna make our own free throws, and as a Thunder fan, I can tell you firsthand, that is a recipe for heartbreak, because Nesmith makes both, Anunoby gets fouled, he misses the first one, makes the second, and Haliburton brings the ball down, dribbles into the paint, is like, there's nowhere for me to go, dribbles right back out, and I thought in the moment he hit a 3, but he hits like the Kawhi bounce straight up. That one shot that Dame hit in the bubble one time, I think it was against the Brooklyn Nets, where it bounced straight up and came back down in, and he hits the choke gesture, and he thought they had won. And it would have been bad for him if the Pacers ended up losing this game after he hit that, after a shot that's ultimately sends it to overtime, but his toes on the line. But the fact that he even hit that shot, it's what Haliburton has done. He hit the shot to go ahead and close out the Bucks in that crazy comeback. He hit the shot to close out the Cavs in that comeback. He hit this shot to send it to overtime for the Pacers in this comeback. Haliburton himself is having one of the craziest clutch runs any player has ever had in NBA history. And then we go into overtime, and they're trading buckets again, and the Pacers, they're just, a well-oiled machine is selling them short. Nembhard's hitting buckets, and Haliburton hits a layup, and Brunson hit a couple free throws. Like, they're trading back and forth, but then Obi Toppin hits a tip dunk, and then Brunson hits a floater. Nembhard hits a layup, and then OG inbounds it. It hits off Nembhard's hand, and then hits off Brunson's hand. They originally called it Knicks ball, but it gets challenged, and then it goes over to the Pacers, who get a wide-open dunk for Obi Toppin. I don't know what Mitchell Robinson is doing on that play. He's completely sleeping, and he and Josh Hart had so many defensive breakdowns in this overtime period and down the stretch in the fourth quarter, and it ends up the Knicks get a chance. You know, they've got clutch players all over the place. Brunson airballs a 3, Towns misses a 3, they lose the ball out of bounds, the game is over. Haliburton passes it to Karl-Anthony Towns' chest, is like, here, you can take the ball. Pacers win and get out of this one. 138 to 135. I can't believe it actually happened. Here's some numbers for you. Playoff record. When trailing by 7 to 9 points with a minute 30 or less left in the game, over the last 25 years, every other team not named the Pacers won in 698. This year's Pacers are 3-0 in that spot. You honestly might be better off just letting the Pacers lead when it comes into the final minute, or at least don't have them down by 7 to 9 points. If you can have them down by like 3, 4, 5, yeah, go for it. But legitimately, when the Knicks went up 8, I was like, oh my God, this is actually where the Pacers kind of want them, somewhat sarcastically, but actually not. I think the pit in my chest started to form. And then another one, NBA teams were 0-970 when down by 14 or more points in the final 250 of regulation in the playoffs over the last 27 postseasons. That's the play-by-play era. The Pacers are the first team to get a win in that scenario. So when I am saying the Pacers might be the greatest comeback team of my lifetime, of NBA history, I am not being exaggeratory. I'm not being hyperbolic. And the fact that I even thought for a moment they had a chance to come back speaks to the insanity that they have showcased so far, but more so the fact that they did it. That when OG Anunoby missed that free throw, I immediately knew the Pacers are either winning this game or they're sending this one to overtime. But the Knicks are not winning this in regulation. Haliburton put up that 3 and it hit back rim, or what looked like a 3, and I've never been so certain a ball was going to come back down from the moon and go in the basket. Never been so certain in my entire life. I don't understand how they're able to pull this off. I mean, it just is the fact that Haliburton always seems to make the right play. They've got a lot of really clutch players. They trust in their guys. You know, the way they trusted Nesmith down the stretch, they didn't get away from him. They kept feeding him the ball. But the Knicks were in such firm control of this game. Towns was playing phenomenal. He was great all regular season against the Pacers. And this game, he's back hitting threes. He's looking like the Karl-Anthony Towns I said in my series preview video. They're going to need to win this series. Towns finished with 35 and 12 with 4 threes. He made 3 all series against the Celtics. Brunson, 43 points, 5 assists. He did have 7 turnovers, but 15 of 25 shooting. They were phenomenal. OG, crazy depoy level plays all over the place for majority of this game. Josh Hart had 8 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, made a lot of blunders at the end, but overall really good on the game. Mitchell Robinson was incredible to start this one off. The Knicks were in such a good spot. I thought this video was going to be the Knicks looked really good. You know, I picked the Pacers to win this series in 7 in my preview video, but this was a convincing win for the Knicks. It had all the makings of that. And the Indiana Pacers, they're just inevitable. I've never seen a team like them, where I'm just so certain, even when they're down, that they're going to find a way to win the game. And that's been the story of this run so far. Regardless of what happens if they lose in this series, because it's definitely not over. I picked it to go 7, so I was expecting insanity like this. Or they make it to the NBA Finals and lose to OKC or Minnesota or whoever. Like, regardless of what happens, this team is on a legendary run. Like, people are going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about this game in particular for so long. I can't shut up still about what they did against the Cavs in that game or what they did against the Milwaukee Bucks. It feels like people continue to doubt the Pacers and expect them to come back down to earth. And I said again in my preview video that one thing I was a little bit worried about with the Pacers is that they might come back down to earth at some point, because they've just been legitimately historic in terms of offensive efficiency. They're doing something no team has ever done when it comes to their efficiency. So it feels like at some point they might be in for a little bit of regression. Not the case. 51% shooting in this game, 40% from 3. That's 15 of 37. They only turned the ball over 7 times. That's huge for them. Put up 138 points. Haliburton 31, 4, and 11. If there are any doubts about the type of player he is, they should be absolutely put to bed. 17 for Siakam, 30 for Aaron Nesmith, who went 8 of 9 from 3. This is the power of their depth. The Pacers are just relentlessly deep. 14 points for Miles Turner, 15 points for Andrew Nembhard, 8 points for Obi Toppin and 10 rebounds. He was phenomenal for them. 10 points for TJ McConnell. I actually was even going to come into this video and complain a little bit about Rick Carlisle, because I didn't love some of the lineups they ran down the end. It was getting away from them, and I was like, why is Ben Shepherd still out here? He only played 7 minutes and 15 seconds, but it felt like all of that was the final few minutes of the game and leading a little bit into overtime. I don't think he played in overtime. I think finally Rick Carlisle went back to Andrew Nembhard. He played for 15 seconds, so not real minutes, but it was him over Andrew Nembhard. I'm like, I don't really love this. And Miles Turner was on the bench. I'm like, I don't love this. And it just worked. I guess that's why he's a championship level coach and I'm not. It just worked. They just have guys. They have players that can make you pay from all over the court, that can attack off the dribble, that can score inside, can hit the 3 ball. Everybody makes the right decision. They play ridiculously efficient team basketball. It's just such a good basketball team. They're so fun to watch. And I already knew this series was going to be incredible. It felt like one of the most 50-50 coin flip conference finals matchups I can personally remember. And with the clutch heroics both these teams have pulled off, the comebacks all throughout their runs up until this point, I knew we were going to get some insanity, but I didn't expect it at this level in the first game of the series. How are they going to top this? The only way they could top it is if they go to 16 overtimes and they legitimately call it a tie and they're like, yeah, game 2 ends in a tie, Pacers 2, Knicks 1, whatever. Let's just go to game 3. Or I guess game 4 at that point. I don't even know what they would go with. I can't believe the Knicks blew that. I mean, again, the series is not over. It's definitely not, but this is a massive blow, because at the very least, you've now given the Pacers home court advantage. At the worst, you now have been kind of struck in the heart, and now maybe your confidence is a little bit shook, and you go into game 2, and if the Pacers win game 2, and they're a snowball effect. They can steamroll you. They did that against the Cavaliers, where they went up 2-0 and then the Cavs won game 3, and it's like, okay, here come the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then game 4 just eviscerated them. And when you go down 3-1 to the Pacers, you're probably not coming back, because you're not going to slow down that offense the way that it operates for 3 games in a row. It's just not going to happen. The Knicks defense disappointing today. They were so good and stepped up so much going up against the Boston Celtics. A lot of it was Pacers' tough shot making at times too. Like, I don't think it was all in the Knicks defense or anything, but it was definitely not as sharp as it was in that series against the Celtics. And I said the Pacers were going to give them a hard time. They're going to be a lot more relentless in attacking Karl-Anthony Towns and attacking Jalen Brunson. They attacked Cat in the pick and roll relentlessly. That's what they're going to do. This is a team that will hunt your mismatches, or even if it's not the guy specifically hunting the mismatch, like Haliburton gets Towns on him, he's going to swing the ball and then run around a screen screen or something to create an opportunity for somebody else, and then Cat's in rotation, and again, he's not the best rotator. They've just got so many wrinkles that are going to make you feel like you're in absolute hell trying to guard them, and that is just the reality. It is hell to guard the Indiana Pacers. Knicks offense, the three-point shooting not great, 32.4%. Turned the ball over 15 times, including the crucial one at the end. I really feel like they did enough to win this game. They didn't, but they did enough. It just came down to late game execution, which is not what I would have expected for the Knicks. It really just is what the Indiana Pacers are capable of. So yeah, if you've been doubting this team at all, if you came into the series and you're like, oh, the insanity run's going to end for the Pacers, it's just not going anywhere. We have never seen a team like this. A team as clutch as this, a team with an offense this efficient is extremely rare in NBA history. Appreciate what we're witnessing. This is going to be one of the greatest series of our lifetimes. I firmly believe that. And shout out to Pacers for getting it done. Knicks fans, again, it's not over. Don't worry. As someone who watched a heartbreaking game end after trying to foul up 3 in Nuggets versus Thunder last round, it's not over, but they've got to settle and you have to win game 2. I think game 2, it's not a must win, but it's as close to a must win without being that I personally think that there is. So those are my thoughts on that game. I'll talk a little bit about OKC Minnesota game 1, which I was actually at. I'm now back visiting some of my family in Virginia, so that's why I'm not in my usual setup. But I came back from OKC. I was there for game 7. I was there for game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. And yeah, the Thunder made a statement. They start off pretty slow, which happens to the Thunder sometimes, but second half just annihilated the Minnesota Timberwolves. Shai, really slow shooting half from him at the beginning, but in the second half was dominant, ended up with 31 points, 9 assists, 3 steals. The defense was really the story of this game, whether it was Alex Caruso or Chet Holmgren, who had one of the best quarters of his entire career in that fourth, where I think he ended up with 9 points. He only missed 1 shot. He was blocking shots. He was deterring everything at the rim. This is what Chet can do. He is a unicorn, and it continues to look a lot more effective for the Thunder when they're running 1 big as opposed to 2 bigs, and I do think that's a strategy Mark Daigneault will continue to employ more going forward. I wouldn't be shocked if he continues to stick with the 2 bigs starting, because it keeps the rotations kind of the way that they have been, but I think 1 big lineup should primarily be on the floor, or the small ball lineup, because that really threw the Timberwolves off as well. Like, they couldn't make anything happen. Naz Reid, terrible in this game. It's not really been the most impressive playoffs from him. 1 of 11, 0-7 from 3. Terrible shooting from Dante DiVincenzo, 2, 3 of 12. Anthony Edwards, no points in the fourth quarter. This Thunder defense is legitimately in the conversation for the best of all time. This team generates turnovers unlike anything the NBA has ever seen, and that's what I said coming to the series, is that the Wolves had to take care of the ball. If you give the Thunder a bunch of turnovers, if you get sloppy with it, you are never going to beat them. It's just not a reality. And they turned the ball over 17 times. Thunder had a bunch of points off those turnovers, fast break transition points. The Wolves had 0 of them. They couldn't get anything going against this Thunder defense. They have size on this team, but like I said, the Thunder are bigger than people give them credit for. And also, it's not like, Rudy Gobert being way bigger than everybody, if he's playing a small ball lineup, is this post god. He went 1 for 3 ultimately and only played 21 minutes because his offense was just not helpful at all. I do still think he probably should have played more, because nobody was really doing anything offensively, and they needed the defensive help, because the Thunder offense really started to roll in the third and fourth quarters. I think they could have used him out there, especially with how much OKC was getting downhill and they were getting offensive rebounds. So I do think Gobert probably should have played more. Jay McDaniels was really good on Shai for a majority of the game, but kind of the Thunder schemed a way around him in the second half. OKC also got a great game from Jalen Williams, 19, 8, 5, and 5 steals, 7 of 18 shooting, not his best shooting night, but if he's playing the defense the way that he has all season, which is all defensive caliber, then the shooting splits don't matter nearly as much. Kaysen, another really good defensive game guarding Anthony Edwards here. Caruso, I mentioned. Kenrich Williams comes in, hardly played against Denver, and finished this one in 9 minutes, 35 seconds. 3 of 3, 2 of 2 from 3, 8 points, 3 rebounds. He was the spark that really kind of changed the game in that third quarter. Isaiah Joe got some minutes. I thought he played really well. It's another story of depth. We talk about Indiana and their depth. The Thunder also have one of the deepest teams in the league. I would say the deepest. And Minnesota doesn't have that same type of depth. They've got really good players. They're very, very talented. And Julius Randle literally looked like Steph Curry and LeBron James's body, except he's lefty, in that first half against Oklahoma City in game 1. And they're going to need a lot from Julius Randle. They're going to need more from Anthony Edwards. But in the end, the role players didn't step up the ways that the Thunder did. And that's kind of the story of game 1. I expect Minnesota to fight back. I don't think they're going to go out, whimpering in game 2 or anything. But it made me feel really good. As a Thunder fan, I feel really good about game 1, the way that the Thunder struggled so much in the second half, were able to really dictate the game, I think, the way they want it to be played. It was nice to see. And Shai, officially the MVP. I've been saying it for a while. I was telling everybody he was going to win the MVP. He has won the MVP. Very, 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 very deserving. Yeah, so I think that's all I've got for right now. I know people are probably going to want me to talk about the whole referee and free throw discourse on the timeline, on Twitter and stuff like that. I'm not even going to get into it. It's not nearly worth my time, because if you know what you're talking about, you know that the things that people are saying just don't really make sense for the most part. So yeah, that's all I've got for this recap. I appreciate watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Let me know down below in the comments, how do you feel about game one of each of these series? Who do you have winning each matchup? And did this change your mind at all on who your pick was coming into it? I appreciate watching. I'll see y'all later. Real one, say it back.